We're just doing NFL playoff picks. Let's break it down. Let's talk matchups. I want to hear your thoughts. And let's get up a little preview here of what the bracket looks like this year. Man, oh man, Kansas City and the Philadelphia Eagles are the number one seeds in their respective divisions. But boy, oh boy, do we have some good matchups in the first round. Some of them not so much better than others, but let's break it down. And I want to start with Jacob. Let's start with the 5-4 matchups. And the first one being the San Diego Chargers against the Jacksonville Jaguars. And this is a Jacksonville Jaguars home game as they are the 4 seed. We got to keep document of this, so I'm going to go ahead and get it posted and get it ready. But who are you taking in this game? Jacksonville, the home team, or the Los Angeles Chargers? Sorry, I kept saying San Diego.
This is interesting, man. This is tough. Once it gets to playoffs, like I want to watch all of these games.
It's the best time of the year, man.
I seriously want to watch every minute of every single game. And
no fantasy implications, no stress. You're just watching good football, baby.
Yeah, there's something relieving about that. But I'm going to go Chargers.
Woo! Okay.
I think they're hot right now. I think they're hot right now, and I think it comes down to which quarterback gets it done. And I think Herbert has a little bit more experience. So I'm going with the Chargers.
All right, man. I don't know if I'm setting myself up for failure, but I really wanted to do this segment and just disagree with everything. So our results are going to be completely all over the board, which is why I can make a case for the Jacksonville Jaguars. They're playing at home. They are on a hot streak of their own. They just won the division in a game where it needed to happen. They took down the Titans. Hey, everyone's been talking about Lawrence. He's been on a hot streak. Can he get it done against a pretty average Los Angeles Chargers defense? And your fantasy MVP, or dark horse, I should say, Travis Etienne, can he get it done against one of the most atrocious run defenses in the league? I think Jacksonville can pull it out at home here. Trevor Lawrence, he wins his first game. And on the other side of the ball, we have to acknowledge that Mike Williams hurt himself last week with a back injury. There's a good possibility that he might be injured, waiting prognosis here. But things don't look well. So this is
also Justin Herbert's first playoff game too.
Oh, well, see, there you go. And I think Thor pulls it out. So I'm going Jags. Jacob is going the Chargers.
You know what's funny about this? It's So a little side. Oh, no, never mind. Go ahead.
And these are just picks, by the way. These are just picks.
Yeah.
Sound good?
Yeah.
Let's see. You ready for the next matchup?
Yep.
Let's see. We're going to take it. We're going to stay in the AFC. Let's break down those games first. And let's do the 6th seed Baltimore Ravens headed in to Cincinnati to take on the Joe Burrow-led Bengals. Who do you have, Jacob, in this matchup? Or you know what? You went first. I don't want to give you the average, the pressure to go first in every single one.
Okay. But I'm saying I'm not going to disagree with you on every single one. Just saying.
No. And I wouldn't hope that you would. I am trying to, but some of these I just can't.
Yeah.
We'll get to the Raiders. We'll get to the Niners and Seahawks in a little bit. But Bengals and Ravens, I think Joe Burrow gets it done. What is it? What's his name? The other guy who's been injured. Lamar Jackson. This is going to be the first time we probably see him in what has it been? 4 weeks, 5 weeks? And they're heading into Cincinnati. Cincinnati's been on a roll of their own lately. Cool Joe Burrow is just as cool as the other side of the pillow, man. I think he gets it done and beats the Ravens in home.
Joe Burrow.
Move on. So that is my pick. I'm going Bengals here. Jacob, what about you?
Yes, I have to go with the Bengals, man. I honestly like Joe Burrow. He's such a cool quarterback. Like, I don't know. He just got so much swag, and I vibe with that. So
you vibe with that? I love it, dude.
I vibe with that. So I'm going Joe Burrow. And like I do not like the situation with the Ravens and Lamar Jackson. Like it makes me feel icky. that he's playing without his contract. Like, it really makes me feel icky. And I know that's not the Ravens' fault necessarily, or
Well,
his fault.
he represents himself. He doesn't have an agent, so
Yeah, and I heard
it's a
his
weird
mom like
situation.
negotiates his contracts or something. But nothing wrong with that.
They want to
But I'm
keep all the
just
money in the
saying,
family, man. I get it.
and I don't, who knows if that's the key factor in all this, but like I'm just worried that he's gonna sustain an injury that's gonna hurt him from getting what he deserves.
Well, that could be this. Now we're going strange conspiracy theories here, but that could be a reason why he's been out so long. People were saying he could have
Oh,
played
for
last week,
sure.
but
For
maybe he's holding
sure.
himself out. Once they knew they were in the
But
playoffs, he's
when he
saving
if
it
he
all
has
for
a chance
where it
to
matters
win,
most.
like look, any team can win. Any team that gets in, you have a
Can
chance to
win,
win.
sure.
So I believe he's going to play his heart out in the playoffs for sure.
All right. Well, there you have it. We're both going Bengals here. Let's stay in the AFC. We're looking at the Miami Dolphins squeaking in by the hair of their chinny chin chin, or I guess finny fin fin. They head to Buffalo to take on Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. And likely, I don't know. We have to figure out, is this a Tua game or not? Because this is kind of the world that we live in now. Does Tua play? Can we get an update on that before we make these decisions? Like, what's the prognosis with him? Uh,
Yeah,
let's
I'm looking
find that
into it
out
right
first.
now.
But even then,
Still up in the air.
I think I still go Buffalo Bills here. So I'm going Bills at home. So far, I'm taking all the home teams, which I don't know if you remember, but last year, I think in the first round, like half of the home teams lost their first round matchup. But good for us. We have the other side of the bracket to talk about. So maybe that's where these things happen.
Yeah, so Mike McDaniel said they're still taking it day by day. So
Okay.
my
So what
long
is your pick?
lost older brother, Mike McDaniel, said they're taking it day by day.
You guys do kind of look alike. Anyways, who's your pick, Jacob? Dolphins and Bills.
I'm going with the Bills.
You hyped it up like it was gonna be just something,
There's no way. Come on. I love you, big bro Mike, but I can't.
If Tua plays, it's just, man, he hasn't been the same. He hasn't been the same for some time.
Yeah.
So it's sad. But yeah, I don't agree. So far, the only difference we have here right now is that Jags and Chargers game. Let's see if the other side of the bracket differs our opinions anymore. Starting with the 5-4 matchup, the Dallas Cowboys head into Tampa Bay to take on the GOAT himself, Tom Brady. Who are you picking, Jacob? I went first the last two times, so I will give you the pick here. Are you picking the Cowboys and Dak Prescott company, or are you picking Brady and the Bucks? What do you got?
This is interesting. Good for you, NFL. You get America's team.
This game is on Monday night, by the way, too.
You get America's team against Tom Brady, the GOAT boat. Good for you, NFL. This is what you always dreamed of. But I think this is a nice story. Brady's been putting it together, getting in with an 8-9 record. I think he's out of gas. I think the Cowboys are taking this.
All right, there we go. We differ again. You don't discount the GOAT. Brady gets it done. We see the Cowboys. They kind of underperform in the playoffs. Can Brady find a way to get it done? I think he does. I'm going Bucks here, just playing devil's advocate, but I also think they have a good chance to win. I love home field advantage in the playoffs, and I get it. I know that it doesn't mean everything. These teams are incredible. They're all amazing. That's why they're in the playoffs. But, you're talking about good narrative. What you want to see Brady just keep going one more time. I don't think he makes it to the Super Bowl. Don't get me wrong, but I think he makes it out of the first round. So I'm going with the Bucks. Jacob going with the Cowboys. I love it. Let's continue on. Let's see the 6 versus 3 seed. New York Giants started off as the hottest team in the NFL, crawled their way into playoff talks. Same thing with the Minnesota Vikings, one of the hottest teams in the NFL, sputtered out towards the end. So two teams that really have no momentum going into the fantasy play or going into the NFL playoffs. I guess I can go here. Who comes out on top? the New York Giants or the Minnesota Vikings? I'm taking the no, I'm not. I'm taking the Minnesota Vikings here. I think they get it done. Uh, Justin Jefferson, Kirk Cousins, Dalvin Cook, who hasn't been himself lately. Um, I think they find a way to kind of just control this game, and not to mention they have like the best record when it comes to one score games in a single season. So I think they close it out here in prime time when it matters the most in the playoffs. I'm going with the Minnesota Vikings. Jacob?
This is the one that I'm most unsure of, especially because what the average of points that Vikings win games by is like less than 3 points. And so they can lose any given week to anybody. But I really think this comes down to Justin Jefferson. He's the best player on the field. He's going to make the biggest impact. I love Saquon Barkley, but the Giants aren't going to be able to keep up with JJ. So, look, it's very close to me, but I'm saying JJ is the difference maker, so I'm going with the Vikings.
Okay, cool. So, again, we haven't differed too much, but these are playoff picks. We're seeing how they add up towards the end of the playoffs, right? So we could have a very similar score, but obviously these games where we're opposing each other are going to make big differences. And am I ballsy enough with this next game? Let's look at the last one to round us out. It's the Seattle Seahawks who made it in last night. They go back to San Francisco where they've been handled before, and they face the hottest team coming into the playoffs with Mr. Irrelevant, Brock Purdy. Jacob, I'll start with you. No bias here, okay? Who takes it home and goes on to the next round? The Seattle Seahawks or the San Francisco 49ers?
Look, so people might say, oh, Niners got this in the bag. Like, they beat the Seahawks twice this year. It's, they're going to kill them. I wouldn't be so quick to say that. But look, I'm going with the 49ers. But this is not going to be easy. The Seahawks play us hard every time we play. The division rivalry thing is true. Like, no matter how well a team is playing, whether they could be, 2-12, but you play your division rival, they're going to play you tough, and it's not going to be easy. And I really like what I've seen from Geno Smith this year. I think Geno Smith as like a dynasty super flex option is an interesting conversation. But besides the point, the 49ers, look, they're the heavy favorite. Everybody is going to take them. So it's you got to go with the Niners in this one. It's at home. They won 10 in a row. It's like their team is overwhelmingly stacked. Like, it's just not fair. So
yeah, it's just not fair. Geno Smith, I was looking it up because I heard it yesterday. He broke a Seattle Seahawks franchise record for most single season passing yards. Obviously, he did it with an extra game, right? So you can't really, but that just goes to show. And even his MVP seasons, Russell Wilson was outmatched by a guy who played one game more than him. So congrats to him. It's a good story. It's good for the NFL. It's probably the best matchup in terms of just like these guys are because New York and Minnesota and the Bengals and Cincinnati. But as far as like us local cats, we've always known about the Seahawks and Niners rivalry.
Like, oh yeah, it's a big game for like people in California. Yeah,
people in California, people in Seattle, people on the West Coast in general. I think they know. Yeah. But I'm sure in Cincinnati, like that is a huge culture to them. Like Cincinnati, Ravens, like, that's.
Hey, look, Bills Dolphins is a division game. Ravens Bengals. I mean, dude, these are some great matchups. Cowboys Bucks, like
they are indeed. And I'm not going to stray from the pack here. I didn't want to be too ballsy because I do want to beat you in the end. I am going San Francisco here. You mentioned it at the top. They are just the best team in fantasy or in football. I'm in fantasy mode. They are the best team in football.
And fantasy football? No, I don't know.
No, probably not and fantasy football. But they are the best team in football, and they're just overwhelming, man. But I will say this. If we're talking about scores projections here, I don't know if it's going to be this massacre that we think it might be. It could be a close game. Playoffs are the playoffs, and the best come to play. So there you have it. Where did we differ? Where we both picked San Francisco to beat Seattle. We both picked the Vikings to beat New York. I went with the Bucks. Jacob went with the Cowboys. We both went with the Bills to beat the Dolphins. Bengals and Ravens. We both went Bengals. And the Los Angeles Chargers and the Jacksonville Jaguars. I went with the Chargers, or I went with the Jags. I'm sorry, and Jacob went with the Chargers. And the stage is set, Jacob. I'm excited for our playoff bracket here, man.